This weekend to pick up on all the stuff I hadn't done. And my wife sleeps rather late. I thought she was a vampire for 12 years.
What does it take to become America's favorite TV dad? For Michael Landon, it meant rising from a childhood shadowed by pain to shining as a television legend. Yet deep in a forgotten forest, a locked cabin holds secrets he never shared. What lies inside, and what does it reveal about the man behind Little Joe and Charles Ingalls? This is the story you haven't heard. Step into his world and uncover the truth. Deep in a forgotten forest, a cabin stood silent for decades, its doors locked, its secrets buried. Whispers swirled among locals that Michael Landon, the television legend, had built it as a private escape. When it was finally opened, what lay inside, letters, mementos, and hidden truths, offered a glimpse into a life far more complex than his on-screen charm suggested. To understand the man behind these mysteries, we must start at the beginning, with a boy named Eugene Orowitz, whose journey to stardom was anything but easy. Born on October 31, 1936, in Queens, New York, Eugene Morris Orowitz grew up in a home torn by conflict. His father, Eli, a Jewish-American actor, and his mother, Peggy, an Irish Catholic dancer, clashed over religion, creating a tense atmosphere. In the 1930s, such interfaith unions were rare and often frowned upon, leaving young Eugene caught in the crossfire. By 1941, the family relocated to Collingswood, New Jersey, hoping for a fresh start. But the small town offered little comfort. Known for its deep-seated prejudice, Collingswood marked Eugene as an outsider because of his Jewish heritage. School was no refuge. Despite a genius-level IQ, Eugene struggled under the weight of bullying and teachers who failed to see his potential. Each Wednesday, while classmates attended church, he was left alone, scrubbing blackboards, a stark reminder of his isolation. Why did he always feel so different? That question haunted him, embedding a sense of rejection that lingered for years. Home brought its own pain. His mother battled severe mental health challenges, leading to moments that scarred Eugene deeply. During a family beach trip, she walked into the ocean, overwhelmed by despair. A young Eugene chased after her, waves crashing around him, pleading for her to turn back. She returned as if nothing had happened, but the fear left him shaken, a memory he'd carry forever. Another struggle came from a medical condition that caused bedwetting. Misunderstanding its nature, his mother shamed him by hanging his wet sheets outside for all to see, including classmates passing by on the school bus. The humiliation drove him to desperate measures, rushing home to hide the sheets or sneaking to the laundromat before dawn. Years later, he poured this pain into The Loneliest Runner, a film that bared his childhood wounds. Yet amidst the darkness, a spark emerged. Eugene discovered javelin throwing, a sport where he could channel his strength and focus. In 1954, at Collingswood High School, he hurled the javelin 193 feet 4 inches, setting a national high school record. Biography. His talent earned him a scholarship to the University of Southern California, and for the first time, he felt seen. But could this be his ticket out of pain? He believed his long hair, inspired by the biblical Samson, fueled his strength. When teammates pranked him with a crew cut, his throws faltered, and in a desperate bid to recover, he tore ligaments in his shoulder, shattering his Olympic dreams. Lost and directionless, Eugene took odd jobs, stocking shelves, selling blankets, unloading freight. But fate intervened. A coworker asked him to rehearse lines for an acting audition, and Eugene's natural talent caught a talent scout's eye. There was a catch. His name, Eugene Orowitz, was deemed too ethnic for Hollywood. Flipping through a phone book, he chose Landon, becoming Michael Landon. Within months, he landed a role on Telephone Time in 1956. But what came next would change everything. In 1957, Michael starred in I Was a Teenage Werewolf, playing a troubled teen-turned-monster. Made on a budget of under $123,000, the film grossed nearly $2 million, a surprise hit that showcased his raw intensity, Wikipedia. 2 years later, he took on the legend of Tom Dooley, portraying a Confederate soldier in a tragic tale. His ability to convey deep emotion hinted at greater things to come. Could this young actor redefine the Western genre? In 1959, Michael was cast as Little Joe Cartwright in Bonanza, a groundbreaking Western filmed entirely in color, a bold move when most TVs were black and white. The show's stunning Lake Tahoe visuals and hefty $100,000 to $150,000 per episode budget, nearly $1 million today, set a new standard in SPTV. Michael's charm as Little Joe captivated audiences worldwide. By 1966, he received over 5,000 fan letters weekly from 64 countries, outshining his co-stars. Fans felt a personal connection, with one writing, "Little Joe, you understand me like no one else." Bonanza soared, hitting #1 by 1964 with a 36.3 rating and 19 million viewers weekly, dominating for 3 seasons. Behind the scenes, the cast became family. Lorne Greene, who played Ben Cartwright, mentored Michael and Dan Blocker, Hoss, even helping secure contracts that made them millionaires. But tensions arose. Pernell Roberts, playing Adam, left after clashing with producers. Michael, however, thrived, even writing a Bonanza script in 1962 at age 25, a grueling task that sparked his creative ambitions. From a boy haunted by shame to a star who reshaped television, Michael Landon's early life forged a resilience that fueled his rise. But greater challenges and triumphs awaited as he prepared to create stories that would touch hearts for generations. Picture a man who'd already conquered the screen as a rugged cowboy, now restless to shape the tales he told. Michael Landon's rise from Bonanza's Little Joe to a creative juggernaut wasn't a straight path. It was a winding trail marked by grit, loss, and a hunger for more. How does someone keep the world hooked while wrestling shadows that stretch back to childhood? After cementing his place in Part 1, Landon's story now deepens, pulling us into a chapter where ambition collides with heartache, and every victory carries a hidden cost. Back in the late 1960s, Landon grew tired of just riding horses and delivering lines. He wanted to craft the worlds those horses galloped through. At 25, he persuaded NBC to let him pen a Bonanza episode, a task so draining it took him 2 sleepless days and left him hollowed out. Nearly 3 years passed before he dared try again. But when he did, something clicked. Writing, he'd later confess, was the toughest gig on the lot. Directors could wing it, actors could improvise, but writers had to forge everything from nothing. By 1968, at 31, he wasn't just scripting. He was directing too, steering Bonanza with a steady hand. His crew became his family, a tight-knit band that trailed him from that dusty ranch to the rolling plains of Little House on the Prairie and beyond. Landon wasn't playing at this, he was carving out a kingdom, frame by frame. Then came 1972, a year that hit like a thunderclap. Dan Blocker, Hoss Cartwright, the gentle giant of the Ponderosa, passed away at 43 after a routine surgery went wrong. The news shattered Landon and Lorne Greene, who'd leaned on Blocker like a pillar for over a decade. Greene called it a wound as raw as losing kin. NBC's call to plow ahead without Hoss left everyone reeling. Greene thought the show should have bowed out right then. Landon, though, took the reins, rewriting the season's opener from a celebration to a dirge. What was meant to be Hoss's wedding became Forever, a gut-wrenching story of Little Joe mourning his wife and kin, chasing justice through tears. Subtle nods to Blocker, a framed picture, a shared sob between Joe and Ben wove through the scenes. Airing in September 1972, it climbed to 4th in the ratings, proof that fans craved closure as much as the cast did. But could even that kind of magic keep the Ponderosa standing? The answer came fast and brutal. NBC shifted Bonanza from its Sunday stronghold to Tuesday nights, and the audience scattered. Ratings slid from a proud 4th to a dismal 52. On November 6, 1972, the network pulled the plug. Greene was incensed. Given mere days to pack up, he snapped that even a street cleaner deserved better notice. NBC waffled, tried to undo the call, but the sets were already rubble. January 16, 1973, marked the end. 14 seasons, 431 episodes, and no farewell to soften the blow. A titan of TV faded out, leaving silence where hoofbeats once echoed. What happens when a legend's stage crumbles beneath him? Landon didn't wait to find out. By 1974, while screens blared with car chases and canned laughter, he dreamed quieter. Tales of log cabins and prairie winds. NBC balked at a 19th-century family saga, but Landon, armed with a fresh network deal, wouldn't bend. His daughter's obsession with Laura Ingalls Wilder's books tipped the scales. A 2-hour pilot hit the air in March 1974, and by September, Little House on the Prairie had its slot. This wasn't just a gig for Landon, he owned it. Producing all 204 episodes, scripting handfuls, directing scores, he moved like lightning, calling print after single takes. The show bore his soul, every hardship and hope molded by his vision. Even after 1983, he stretched its life with 3 TV films, proving he could bend time itself to keep his stories alive. His team stuck close, Kent McRae producing, William Claxton directing, David Rose scoring every note of those 204 episodes. Victor French, a friend from the early days, became Mr. Edwards, later joining Landon on Highway to Heaven. Each Christmas, Landon cashed his NBC Rose Parade check to shower his crew with gifts, a small act that roared loyalty. But beneath the warmth simmered strife. Karen Grassel, the steadfast Ma Ingalls, clashed hard with Landon over pay. By 1975, with Little House soaring in the top 10, he stonewalled her raise, saying the network didn't see her worth, even suggesting she match the kids' wages. Her scenes shrank to fleeting moments, her residuals a pittance, once just $127 for a rerun. Trapped by contract, she stewed as Landon's offhand jabs, coarse and cutting, soured rehearsals. Melissa Gilbert and others winced at his humor too. Then came the affair with Cindy Clerico, a young makeup artist. Landon flaunted it, still wed, unraveling the saintly mask he wore on screen. That darkness had roots. Born Eugene Orowitz in 1936, Landon grew up under a mother whose mind frayed, her despair nearly claiming her life more than once. At 10, he pulled her from water's edge, a day he'd call his bleakest. That weight bled into Little House. By season 3, his scripts turned heavy, characters teetering on collapse, saved by raw will or a fist. Fights peppered his episodes, a release he demanded to play out himself, no stand-ins. Stuntmen saw it wasn't bravado. It was survival, a way to hammer out the hurt. The man who built a family show carried a storm inside him, yet Landon never slacked. Nights stretched long as he rewrote lines, chasing perfection, weaving in themes, prejudice, struggle, that dared to pierce the 1970s airwaves. His daughter once said the grind wore him thin, but the legacy glowed. Offset, though, he was a paradox. Roaring in on a Ferrari, Marlboro dangling, gold chains catching the sun, trading quips that jarred with Charles Ingalls' quiet grace. Alison Arngrim dubbed him a shapeshifter, rogue one minute, hero the next. The Clerico scandal cracked his 17-year marriage and broke Melissa Gilbert's heart, her surrogate dad suddenly a stranger. Was the real Landon ever the man we thought we knew? As Michael Landon's star burned bright on screens across the world, his personal life wove a story of devotion, fracture, and redemption. In 1956, with his acting career just sparking, he married Dodie Levy Fraser, a legal secretary who brought her 11-year-old son, Mark, into their home. They soon adopted a baby boy, Josh, building a small family. But by 1962, cracks had formed, and their marriage dissolved. Weeks later, Landon found love again with Marjorie Lynn Noe, a Bonanza acquaintance. Their union grew into a bustling household, with Landon adopting Lynn's daughter, Cheryl, and welcoming 4 more children, Leslie, Michael Jr., Shauna, and Christopher. For nearly 2 decades, this family seemed an anchor in Hollywood's stormy seas. But could stability last in a life so tethered to fame? In 1982, a scandal erupted that would redefine Landon's legacy. On the set of Little House on the Prairie, he grew close to Cindy Clerico, an 18-year-old stand-in. Their affair, blossoming under the spotlight, stunned those who saw him as America's moral compass. At 45, leaving his wife of 19 years for someone younger than his daughter shattered his image as the perfect TV dad. Lynn Noe, heartbroken, reportedly hurled a vodka bottle at him in fury. Advertisers like Kodak pulled away, and tabloids pounced. Landon insisted the marriage had deeper issues, but fans struggled to reconcile Charles Ingalls with this new reality. The fallout was a stark reminder: even heroes stumble. Yet Landon forged ahead. In 1983, he married Cindy, and they welcomed 2 children, Jennifer and Sean, bringing his total to 9. To his youngest, he was a playful, present father. Jennifer recalled watching My Left Foot with him at 6, treated like an equal, while Sean didn't grasp his father's fame. But for his older children, the wounds lingered. Cheryl, who adored him, was devastated when he left her mother, especially after he'd sat by her hospital bed following a near-fatal car crash in 1973, willing her to live. Melissa Gilbert, his on-screen daughter, wrote of a world torn into angry opposing sides. How does a man balance such love and pain? Landon's creative fire never dimmed. In 1984, he launched Highway to Heaven, playing Jonathan Smith, an angel guiding lost souls. Inspired by a moment of frustration in Beverly Hills traffic, he mused, "If people just acted kind, life would flow better." The show, running 5 seasons with 111 episodes, echoed his own quest for redemption, blending flaws with a drive to do good. He owned the series outright, a rare feat, and brought real cancer patients and disabled writers onto the set, reflecting his belief in second chances. Wikipedia. In early 1991, while skiing in Utah, sharp headaches struck. On April 5th, doctors delivered a crushing diagnosis: pancreatic cancer, already spread to his liver. At 54, Landon faced his mortality with courage. On The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, he spoke candidly, even joking, urging others to heed health warnings. He linked his illness to years of smoking and drinking, having tried to quit after losing co-star Victor French to lung cancer in 1989. Could openness in the face of such a battle inspire a nation? Landon refused to let tabloids spin his story. On April 8th, he stood at his Malibu ranch, calm and defiant, telling reporters, "You don't beat this by hiding in a corner." False headlines swirled. One claimed he and Cindy were planning another child during treatment, but he shielded his youngest from the chaos. That Malibu home, a 7-bedroom haven on 70 feet of beachfront, was a sanctuary for barbecues, music, and laughter. As his health faded, it became a sacred space. Days before his death, all 9 children gathered there, past rifts forgotten in the face of farewell. On July 1st, 1991, at 1:20 p.m., Michael Landon passed away in that home, holding Cindy's hand. His final words to his children were, "I love you all, but I need a moment with her." 500 attended his funeral, where Ronald Reagan praised his fight as a story that touched every American's heart. Melissa Gilbert called him a man of integrity. His grave at Hillside Memorial Park, beside his adopted son Mark, who died in 2009, bears the words, "He seized life with joy. He gave to life generously. He leaves a legacy of love and laughter." Yet near Malibu's cliffs, a quiet spot draws strangers who leave flowers and notes, a living tribute to his impact. After his death, the Malibu mansion stood silent, its gardens wild, its windows fogged by sea mist. Sold in 1989 for $6 million, about $11 million today, it was renovated and resold in 2014 for $40 million. Forbes. Locals called it Landon's ghost house, a relic of his vibrant life. His legacy endures elsewhere. Inducted into the National Cowboy Museum's Hall of Fame in 1998, his star shines at 1500 North Vine Street. His daughter Jennifer, now a Yellowstone star, and realtors Shauna and Sean, carry his creative and entrepreneurial spirit. People. Landon's wealth, estimated at $40 million at his death, reflected his savvy celebrity net worth. His Malibu mansion and a 9,000-square-foot equestrian compound, still family-owned, anchored his portfolio. He drove a Ferrari in his Little House days, a nod to his flair, though specific watches or jets remain undocumented. Owning Highway to Heaven outright was a masterstroke, and endorsements likely padded his fortune. He secured $8 to $10 million for each child, with a will discouraging disputes. His lesson? Build boldly, but plan for those you love. From Bonanza's Little Joe to a flawed angel, Landon's life was a saga of triumphs and stumbles. His daughter Shauna said it best, "Don't wait, tomorrows are finite." Did he live enough to leave the world brighter? Michael Landon's journey from a troubled past to television immortality is a story of triumph, tragedy, and transformation. If this video resonated with you, please like it. Leave a comment with your favorite Michael Landon moment and subscribe for more captivating stories. Coming soon, the untold story of another beloved star whose life is as fascinating as Michael Landon's. Remember, every star has a story, and Michael Landon's shines as a beacon of hope and humanity.